Lizard is an NES game that was released in 2018. It's probably best described as an adventure platformer that's done away with the usual long-winded epic tale of a hero on a quest. Nobody here needs saving, and for once the world is safe from monsters. Instead, our goal is a lot simpler. We get to put on a lizard and go for an adventure. When the game starts, you pass through a door into the game world. There's no tutorial, nobody to talk to, and no obvious objective. It's a refreshing change from being slammed with many minutes of exposition before actually getting going, but thankfully the manual has a few clues for directives. The included maps let you know that you're at the tip of an enormous world with many different terrains to explore in what appear to be two major areas, Recto and Verso. The other big hint alludes to 6 more lizard suits to find and play with, each with their own unique abilities. It's not much to go on, but I think that's the point. What's nice about this game's world is that you can more or less go anywhere you like from the moment you begin the game, with a few exceptions that require the use of specific lizard suits to open up an inaccessible path or that let you interact with things differently, like gliding over the water's surface rather than diving down, for example. Almost all the areas require platforming to wander through, and sometimes those jumps had to be just right to make it. The controls did take me a little while to get used to. One of the areas I decided to tackle were the trees just west of the starting area, and the swooping owls and tiny platforms got the best of me more times than I care to admit. The character moves quite fast, which isn't a bad thing. It speeds up moving from place to place, but it does make platforming feel a little slippery. There are built-in controls to slow yourself down that I ignored mostly, but I eventually got used to the momentum and embraced my pitfalls as a good reason to explore somewhere new. A really nice touch about Lizard is the enemy roster, if you can even call them enemies. They bring on a fun change of pace from other games in that interactions with them are mostly meant to be passive. The uniqueness comes from not having any form of an effective weapon or attack to use. Jumping on enemies or touching them will instantly kill you the majority of the time, so there's a lot of learning to do to know where the different creatures pop up and how to avoid them. Many residents of this world are just minding their own business and won't assert themselves unless they're provoked, while others are doing just what wild things would do, protecting their own territory. These dog-like enemies put so much fear into me. They move so fast, and their unpredictable jumps and lunges killed me pretty often while I was fumbling to react. Not all adversaries were so brazen though. One of the trickiest of all to avoid were the tiny blue frogs. They blended in so well with the scenery that if I accidentally touched one, I often didn't see it until my skeleton had gone flying off the screen for the billionth time. This game is kind enough to linger on the scene where you died until you press a button so that you can assess the situation and better prepare for next time, which I definitely appreciated. One-hit deaths around every corner might feel unfair, but I can genuinely say that anytime I died, it was my own fault. Lizard is very much about planning a way forward and learning from past mistakes. Rushing into uncharted territory will get you killed, plain and simple. There are many checkpoints in the form of save stones that you can respawn at when you die, scattered throughout both maps, and anytime I got to a new area, finding one of these was top priority. There were only a handful of times where I felt backed into a corner after touching a save stone in a particularly volatile section of Recto or Verso, but many deaths could be blamed on my own impatience while trying to get out. Holding select can also help you get out of a sticky situation if you're really stuck, but I didn't end up having to use this. Needing to assess and plan how to move forward translated into a very charming aspect of this game, being able to slow down and take in the surroundings. All the areas of both Recto and Verso are filled with small visual touches that bolster the feeling of immersion in each environment, and this was further enhanced by the excellent soundtrack. Each tune fits so well with its location, from bassy and foreboding in the caverns to whimsical and light when wandering through the different forests. The audio-visual experience in Lizard is truly a package deal. Eventually, if you wander around long enough, you'll find a colorful portal that will bring you to a fight with something that wants to destroy you. I won't say too much about where to find these or how to defeat each thing that lingers, but without an active means to attack, these encounters make very good use of Lizard Suit strategy. You needed to use your new abilities not only to reach their locations to begin with, but to also conquer the creatures inside. No two boss encounters were even remotely the same either, so you never quite know what you're in for when you hop through that portal. All of these unknowns and surprises really kept the suspense soaring for me. These confrontations were some of the most imaginative parts of Lizard and took a ton of practice to master. I appreciated the challenge that they laid out for me, but I was also surprised in the emotions that these encounters conjured up. with so little backstory and intention around who we are and what our purpose is in Recto and Verso. I grappled a little bit with why I needed to fight these fights to begin with. I never left one feeling valiant or proud, and by the game's end, I still didn't feel justified in my actions. It was a good philosophical slap I wasn't expecting from this game. While trying to find new and exciting tasks around Lizard's landscapes, there were lots of coins just out of reach and carved pillars to interpret. I had a lot of how do I get over there moments and would just fling myself off of high spots trying to land somewhere productive below, or go through a new door and hope that I'd end up a little closer to things beyond my grasp. When the credits rolled, I still had no idea what purpose the coins had or what these cool faces carved into the castle walls were for, but these questions stirred up some creative thinking and pushed me to try different things in the search for answers to my many, many questions. Along with trying to find everything, there are multiple endings up for grabs, adding even more great replay value to the adventure. I think the only major issue I had with Lizard was the password system. I assumed that getting a password would save all of my progress, but instead I think it acted as more of a placeholder for where you were and what lizard you were wearing when you quit the game last. I didn't realize that everything I'd accomplished would be undone every time I turned off the console, and while there's nothing wrong with a game that needs to be finished in one sitting, I only realized this after 2 several-hour play sessions. It was a bit of a rude awakening that I learned the hard way, but after exploring the world for a long while, it didn't take me long to get back to where I was once I realized that this was an issue. Lizard for NES is a fantastic game that was clearly made with a lot of passion for the console that it was created for. It's an adventure that parallels the difficulty of other games released in the console's prime, but with the added shine of a broader working knowledge of the system's limitations and how to push them further than ever. If you're looking for a challenging and mysterious quest packed with an immersive world, tons of secrets and high replay value, then Lizard is the game to slide into.